You are listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense. Hello and welcome to Radio Nonsense. Stop it. The official Comedy Club for Kids podcast, Go Away, that is suitable for all ages from to and everything in between. Sorry, I'm Tiernan, and this week, as you can hear, I'm having a problem in Comedy Club for Kids HQ with flies. Flies. It's that time of the year when flies are everywhere, you know? Well, you do know, unless you're listening at a different time of the year, or on the other side of the planet when it's a different time of the year, or you're on another planet where years take ages and there are no flies, and your main problem is always alien monsters or asteroids or something else. But if you are listening to this right near where I live, then firstly, hey, why don't you ever pop over for a cup of tea and a game of Pin the Satsuma on the shark's face? And secondly, you will know it's the time of year, not quite summer, not quite spring anymore, sort of in-betweeny, when all the flies are like, hey, we're back! And they are somehow everywhere, buzzing about and landing on everything. Just go away, flies. This podcast isn't poo. You've got no reason to land on it. Oh, wait, maybe they think this podcast is poo. That could be the problem. Nah, this podcast is too good for even flies to think it's poo, and I'm sure flies don't even listen to podcasts. How can they when all they hear is buzzing all the time? You wouldn't be able to listen to anything. I need to employ some fly getting rid of tactics. Linda, do you know the best way to get rid of flies? What about trying to hit them with a rolled up newspaper, Linda? Ugh. I'm pretty sure rolled up newspapers work because flies hate reading the news. Huh? The fly is reading the newspaper. That's not how it's meant to work. Give me my newspaper back. Maybe I need to try a candle. Smoke is meant to make flies go away, isn't it? I think. Okay. There you go. Take that, annoying fly. Have that smoke in your face. What? No, it's not for you to sit by and tell campfire stories. And there's even more of them now. And they're roasting marshmallows. Right. Well, only one thing for it then. I'm going to have to call in a professional spider. I don't like spiders. They creep me out. It's too many legs for one creature, isn't it? They should give some legs to a worm. It's selfish. But I guess today I have no choice. Hi, Spiders Are Us. I need to hire in your best flycatcher, please. Lovely, thank you. Ugh. While I wait for the professional spider to arrive, this review on Apple Podcasts arrived this week from Goofy emoji in the US. And they say, whatever you do don't means I have a new note for you. It's time to live. I have a joke for you. Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? He didn't have the guts and nobody to go with. Brilliant. Thank you, Goofy emoji. I didn't realise. So that's what whatever you do don't means. All of that. My goodness, I didn't get that note. But thank you for filling me in. I love my new notes. And also, live immediately. It's time to live. Great. I'll take that advice on board. Oh, wait, hang on. I already am. Oh, that's very handy. And that is a great joke as well. I do want to know, though, do you need guts to go to a dance? I suppose it would help if you needed a poo halfway through, and with no guts or body, it would just fall on the floor, wouldn't it? And then it would make it much harder for anyone else to dance. And, of course, with poo all over the floor, you'd probably end up covered in flies. No, I just mentioned poo. Go away. There isn't one here. Ugh, sorry about that. If you'd like to review the show, then you can do that on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or loads of other places that podcasts live. And if you'd like to send me a question that you need to have answered, or a joke that you want me to read out, or anything else at all, then please ask your bluthering wingnuts, sorry, I mean grown-ups, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. You can also comment on any episode's Q&A on Spotify too. Don't forget to check out comedyclubforkids.co.uk for all of our live shows and all the other stuff we do. And this week, once again, I would like to ask that if you have friends or even arch enemies, or just anyone, really, no, not anyone, don't talk to strangers, obviously, but if you have strange friends, like, you know, sort of like Weird Gregory, please tell them to give this show a listen and to subscribe on the podcast platform of their preference, or even just one that they don't hate. The more listeners, the more likely it is then that I can command an army of radio nonsense fans to stop these flies without having to call in a professional spider because, the spider. Sorry, I mean, it's just nice for other people to know this show exists too, isn't it? Go away! No, not you, listeners, the fly. But also, listeners, you need to go away and listen to this, as it's now time for the most importantest bit.
There are bugs everywhere.
I am so very pleased that returning to the podcast is the one and only Edy Hurst, aka Eddie the constantly unsteady, aka Edelhurst the worst, world champion German sausage flinger, or as all of our rabbit listeners know you, rabbits are really awful for audio podcasts, honestly. But, Eddie, you are most well known for owning the wardrobe that leads to Narnia and mostly just using it for socks, for being the first person to cross the Chanel, a whole swimming pool full of whiffy perfume, and most famously, you're credited as being the only human in the whole universe who knows what throw pillows are actually for. Eddie, it's so nice to have you back. How you doing?
Thank you for having me back. It's great to be here, and it can confirm that the Narnia wardrobe does have a lot of space for socks, which I don't think enough people talk about. I think C.S. Lewis really missed a trick when he didn't include how many socks Lucy had to step through as she went through those doors.
I agree, because I always felt a big problem with that. I mean, when I look at the back of my wardrobe, there's normally some dust there. There's definitely a whole family of moths who I've got to know quite well. They're a lovely bunch, actually. Particularly the parents. The kids are a bit annoying, but generally, nice bunch. And I've got some old socks. I've got some old jumpers that are very moth bitten. I don't know how that's happened. And and there's a lot of rubbish there. And yet, when in Narnia, there wasn't rubbish anywhere.
No, yeah, the sanitation department is outstanding.
Right.
I think that's the thing. There's a lot of deleted chapters actually in that. Like in the Lord of the Rings films when there's like another movie in there.
Yes.
It's like that, but it's actually a lot of like local authority meetings. The Beaver Union's really like on it, and they take a lot of pride in their work. So the sanitation's great. Like the sewage is tip top. There are a lot of bins actually, like those lampposts, they just tilt, like if you push the top of them they do just fold down, and there's actually a bin
lovely.
in there.
That's lovely, because I suppose my concern was when the Ice Queen was in charge, which is obviously a period of political turmoil for the Narnia world.
Yeah.
Not like the Aslan days, which everyone still talks about being the glory times.
Yeah.
But when the Ice Queen was in charge, you'd sort of thought maybe she'd frozen all the sanitation workers. Maybe you'd turn up and there would just be bits of loo roll and old boxes of hats and all that sort of stuff. And it still seemed good, though. It still seemed good when all the kids appeared, didn't it?
She froze the pay. She did freeze the pay. That was the first thing she went for.
That's awful. Yeah.
Yeah, she just thought like, if I freeze that, then there'll be more competition. And she did also try to bring the badgers into the dam building, but they were just a nightmare at it because they don't like it. They dig holes. They don't like it.
No, that makes sense. That does make sense. I mean, I don't want to say she's a hypocrite. I mean, but she is. No money for sanitation, loads of money for Turkish delight.
Yeah, it was. Well, the thing is, right? Where she went off to ice school, she was actually best mates with Turkish delight factory owner there.
I will get. I might sewn up, right?
I could get actually. If we can keep the secret, I could get in trouble for saying that. But
sure, of course.
If you follow the treacle, it does.
Yeah,
the trickle down economics of Narnia is absolutely appalling.
Well, that is awful. I mean, and you've got a great responsibility having that wardrobe. Do you have people turning up all the time wanting to pop over, and you have to say no because I keep my pants in there? Or
it's been awful. The only way that I've actually been able to stop people getting in is I had to install this toll booth beforehand. Run by a phantom.
Yeah.
And that's actually really helped. But then the problem is that he's always like at the opera in the evenings. so I have to sit in
Oh, yeah,
because I didn't realize that the Phantom toll booth operator was also the Phantom of the Opera, and he's got like a
yeah,
season ticket there, which does I don't know, I didn't think that. Not that I'm like don't I don't want people to listen to this thinking like I'm thrifty in the way that I pay my wages to staff because I'm not, but I was surprised that he could afford a season ticket for the opera because
yeah.
I don't know where he's getting that from.
Well, the thing is, I don't know if you're aware, there is only one phantom. Like, whenever you hear about a phantom anywhere, like you hear about, this place is haunted by phantoms, and it's just what is that one guy.
Right.
Including, I mean, listeners won't know about this at all, but there was a phantom in the Defenders of the Earth, and that was the same guy as well.
Right. Oh,
which
okay.
I know listeners won't remember the Defenders of the Earth, but it's go look it up. The fact he wore a lovely purple suit, and
that's nice.
Same guy, and there's only one Phantom at that time, and I think as a result he was kind of given a season ticket to the opera because they're like, without you, what are we? If we don't have a Phantom of the Opera, what's the point? Every opera needs one, but there is only one, so it's complicated. Yeah.
So actually, the Phantom Menace was just his life.
Yes,
admin.
yes.
Was his schedule was a nightmare.
That's it. That's the other one. Yes, of course. Yeah, him as a child. Yeah. It's he's quite busy. I mean, I'm impressed you got him to run the toll booth.
Fair play to him. He does a great job. Does a really good job. Keeps a lot of the riffraff out. But we do have an open day. We do a heritage open day twice a year where people can come in and have a look at Narnia. But it depends. Like most of the time, it's like you're getting shoulders in, then you go, oh, it's a bit cold, and then you're out. Because kids can go in there and then they're gone for decades, and then they come back and it's a Jumanji situation where they're like they're grown up, but life's the same here.
Also, I don't want to sound grumpy, but like Narnia doesn't sound that great. What is there? There's like a bridge, there's a palace, there's a few talking animals, but it's not like it's a theme park. Like there's no funfair rides, there's no arcades, there's not even a beach. Like what would you do there, right?
Aslan did try and make a fairground there, but that was actually his folly. Right. Like when Disney made the theme park, everyone was like, "This is Aslan's folly. It's not gonna work out." And it didn't though. It blew up in his face because he could not hold a wrench.
Wow.
So they tried to make a little roller coaster. It just didn't. It was like a wagon, and the wheels kept going on it. But they hadn't built the tracks, so he just kept like, what?
I mean, do you know? I think probably part of it is he's a big lion. Lions don't have thumbs or opposable thumbs.
That was
those
tricky
funny little half thumbs halfway up their arm, which don't really. I don't think they count. And then so how are you going to build a theme park when you've got no thumbs?
I ask that question every morning. I wake up.
Yeah,
look in the mirror.
Big question. Which I don't know any of you knows, but like every theme park there's ever been made. I don't know if you know all of the theme parks, but there's like at least 3 out there, I think.
Yeah.
And whenever someone's asked for a permit to build a theme park, the first question on the form is, "Have you got thumbs?" And if you answer no, well, actually you can't answer no because you can't hold the pen.
It's hard, isn't it? Yeah.
It's very hard. But that's like the first step. And then because then they're like, "Well, you can't really have this theme park because how would you deal with the health and safety?"
That is I think that's unfair. I think there should be like a thumb system that we can provide thumbs to people without them so that they can build their theme park.
Oh, that's nice.
That's just me, though.
Sweet. No, that's nice, isn't it? Like a thumb charity where we go around and just give everyone a spare, like a. You don't, you're in need of a thumb. We can go like thumbs up is a sort of charity. Is that taunting? If you like, it's the thumbs up charity. Is that a bit mean?
Well, I didn't want to like brag too much, but the money that I raised from donations for Narnia does go towards raising the amount of thumbs in the world.
Oh, right. Nice.
But we haven't come up with a name yet. So I when you said it, I thought thumbs up sounded great, but maybe we need a consultation period. I mean, if I can get Aslan to the doorway, I can ask him.
Yeah. That's actually a good point. I don't, I feel like I'm very aware that listeners don't just want to hear about Narnia all the time. Like, it's all anyone ever talks about. But they never pop over this way, do they? Have you ever just sort of gone in for a pair of socks and gone, oh no, it's a lion?
Sometimes. Look, should I give it a go now? Let me. I've got the door. Right. Let me. Oi! Aslan! Nothing.
Nothing. Weird.
No.
Weird. You never sort of wake up in the morning and Mr. Tumnus is there trying on your shoes, or it's another.
No, he did try him once. He absolutely ruined him. He put his hoof right through him. It was. I did offer him some socks. I thought, oh, he'll like them. He just put them on his hands. But he has thumbs, which was very like, mate.
Yeah. We see he's got that great, like, I sort of think, what is it that he's called? Is it a satyr? Is that what you call them?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and but he's got that like best of both. He's got little goat legs, but top half is a human. So that means got the thumbs, but also can run pretty fast and poo in a field.
Yeah, he is the Miley Cyrus of Narnia, the best of both worlds.
That's right. It's absolutely. That's what they call him. That is.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yes, that's very true. That's very true. What would you? Is that an option? Would you like the lower half of a goat? Would you like to have little hooves or are you not keen?
I'm not against it. You know, like I'm not like I wouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth if they were like, oh, do you want hooves? I'd weigh it up. I think I'd rather have a tail, but then I actually think the hooves might be more useful than a tail because like I don't climb that often, so I don't think the balance of a tail is going to help me out.
Yeah, but the hooves would be useful for climbing. If you were to climb mountains, you wouldn't need a tail if you had hooves. It's if you climb trees, you'd need a tail. So it depends on what you don't climb. What don't you climb?
Well, I could climb. I've never climbed a mountain, but maybe that's because I've not got the right equipment.
Yeah.
I have climbed a tree. I've climbed a ladder up to the sun.
I think you want a tail.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's lock that in then. Have you got the order form over there? Can we?
Yeah. It's just next to this one for thumbs.
Great.
Yeah. I'll crack that in. Yeah. I do. I think because my star sign. I'm a Capricorn, which is half goat, half fish, and I always think that's the least helpful combination of things because
it's goat top half, right?
Yeah, goat top half.
Yeah.
So the top half's like, I want to climb mountains, but the fish half is not helping at all. And the fish half's like, I want to swim, but the top half is useless. It's rubbish. It's a rubbish, stupid animal.
Yeah, and also like because you could like a goat, you've got the horns, so if you swim fast enough, maybe you could get some fish for your food.
Oh, that's good.
But like herbivore, it's not gonna.
Yeah,
you got all the fish, you got to know what to do with it.
That's rubbish. Also, I just have this feeling. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being very stereotyped about goats here because I've never seen a goat compete in swimming at the Olympics. But I just feel like the hooves aren't good for swimming. Like you want hands to kind of almost scoop the water when you swim.
Yeah.
If you've got hooves, it's not going to scoop. Where's the scooping?
No scoop.
No scoop. No scoop. Thumbs.
That's what they say to each other. They go, hey, Billy, you got no scoop.
Wow.
When they're at the leisure centre.
That's why they don't get to the Olympics. They're too busy sort of feeling sad about the lack of scoop. Everyone should have scoops. Scoops are great.
Scoops are good.
Best way to deliver ice cream.
Yeah, absolutely. The other day, we sad day in the Hurst household. We broke our ice cream scoop. It snapped in half. Which
I think, no!
If there's ever a sign that the universe is telling you too much ice cream, buddy, it's a broken scoop.
Well, I don't. Is it too much ice cream, or is it just the ice cream was too hard?
That could be true too. Very difficult ice cream. A lot of platforms on it. Boss level at the bottom of it.
Did you go for hardest difficulty level ice cream? Is that what you?
I did. Yeah, I went for lava level. Lava level ice cream.
That's not easy. But you must have really. Maybe you have had too much ice cream to get your way to that level of ice cream.
Yeah, that's true. I did have to. So I did a few, and at the bottom of it was like a little robot. And when I smashed that, there was just a little animal in there, and it was very happy.
Wow.
But then this one, there was like this little lad with a big ginger moustache and a bald head. And he was just raging. He was absolutely raging. And I kept saying, like, what are you doing in there? He's like, don't tell the Eggman what to do. I thought you seem more like a Robotnik to me. What is this? I was very confused.
That's very confusing. I mean, and how many rings did you collect sort of eating that ice cream?
Well, this is the tragedy of it. Is like I'm collecting all the rings as I eat, and I feel great. I'm like, I'm ring rich. I'm up in rings. I'm like satin over it. The amount of rings I've got, and then
Amazing.
like get to the final bit. It's a bit hard. I hurt my hand, and they all fall out and flash
Oh,
away.
that's a real shame. There must be like an insurance policy you can get so that doesn't happen.
You know what? I've not looked into that. I'll have a look because the rings would be really helpful for paying the Phantom as well. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
it is getting a bit tight at the moment. Um,
And also, I think
yeah,
just putting round things. Yeah, it's nice to just put a ring down round things. If you like it, you should put a ring
yeah,
on it. That's what they
yeah,
say,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
And
That's what
yeah,
I've heard. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I've heard that
Just
said.
put a ring on all the stuff you like. Just cover it in
Mm.
rings. It's a nice idea. Yeah. Well, wow. Well, you've had a busy time
Mm.
of it. Yeah, I'm really pleased that you had time to come on the show
Well, thank you
again.
for having me.
Yeah.
I
No.
wouldn't miss it for
Absolutely.
the world.
Wouldn't you? Really? So if the world
For the
said
yeah, 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 yeah,
we need
yeah.
your help, Eddie, you need to help us right now.
No, no, very important question. The
Wow.
children need answers.
That's true. That's true. Even if the world is like in trouble, the children need answers first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've committed now. You know what? In for a penny, in for a coin,
Well,
in
no,
for a
but
ring.
I think it's a bit like on a plane when they say in the safety thing if the air masks come down, then you have to put it on the children first. It's the
Yeah.
same. If the world's in trouble, you have to answer important questions from our listeners
Yeah, I think that's fair
first.
because
Yeah.
there's like Phantom will switch over to Defenders of Earth. He'll probably give us a few minutes, and then I
Yeah.
can answer the questions, and then head off and help with this.
Yeah. Perfect. It'll be
Yeah.
fine. It'll be fine. Well, listen, I don't want to delay you helping the Earth anymore, but I do have a question for you that I do need you to help me answer. But also, I've got two admin questions before that. Are you,
All
are
right.
you okay with a little bit of admin before we get into the main the main boss level event?
Let me just. Okay, I'm ready.
Wow, that was good. Wow, you really psyched yourself up for this. I'm really impressed.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I've got two questions. I think the second one is pretty hard. The first one,
Okay.
hopefully, quite self-explanatory. But take your time, Eddie. This is all about There's no wrong answers except for the really wrong ones. Don't
All
do
right.
the
Okay.
really. Just try not to get it so wrong that it's like, wow, we have to explode this podcast in a
Okay.
contained environment. Just try and don't try not to get it so wrong. But there's not really any wrong answers, and you can take your time. So. Question one, Eddie, is quite simply, what is this?
What is this? Oh, this is going to be such an old reference. But you remember Faith No More? Tiernan.
Yeah, and it's a big. I don't know. Our listeners probably really big,
They were
big Faith No More fans, aren't
big,
they?
big fans of the pre-new metal.
Yeah.
Grungy win. But I hear that phrase, and there's a song called Epic, which is actually a really good song. But there's the singer goes, "What is this? It's this. What is this?" And
Wow.
that's what I think as well. I think that's a good question. What is this? Uh, is it the real life or is it just fantasy? Um,
Wow.
I'd say a bit of both. Why not? I'd say 50 fantasy, 50 real life.
Wow. Well, hang on. I've got a big question then. Apart from the fact that I do hope all the listeners now become massive Faith No More fans, and they
What have I done?
find that they perform these big concerts to largely, I guess, our audience ranges. Well, I say it's for all ages between and, but generally sort of every age except 100. It's a long, complicated story. Hopefully that'll be their new audience. But I want if we are partly real life, partly fantasy. Like some people read like fantasy novels where it's all about like dragons and wizards. If we're partly fantasy, does that mean fantasy novels have to be really boring?
Yeah, part of it does have to be like I was saying with Narnia. A lot of it is under the surface. A lot of admin, a lot of custodials, a lot of bureaucracy in there. And that is really important part. That's like the sort of the framework underneath the roller coaster tracks.
Right, right. So that does kind of ruin like big epic TV shows. They love it when they can do all the CGI of all the magical stuff, but now Nah, they're probably going to have to tone that down and just sort of say, new fantasy drama, grown-up goes to office.
Well, they could have a spin-off show, don't rule that, like if say like you've got Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, and then like you got the spin-off, which is like Andrew Maxwell and the Andrew Maxwell. Is he? I'm sure he's been on the show, possibly.
He hasn't, but I'm sure I think he would be wonderful at it. Yes,
he's
Listeners,
got cast.
Do not Google Andrew Maxwell.
No. But and he has to star as like a small claims court guy with the Percy Jackson stuff.
No, that would be nice. Yes, I would particularly
fine.
like Andrew Maxwell to do that. Yes, that's a great. Yeah, that would be okay. That'd be. Yeah, I mean, it is funny, isn't it? I often think that actually. There's always sort of spin-offs of TV shows and movies and prequels and sequels, but they never do the spin-offs of like the boring people in the background.
No,
and
I'd love
sometimes
that.
I think that would be really good, like a whole series based on the person that was just like in the crowd when like a monster attacked Percy Jackson or something, and then it cuts back to them and they're calling home going, you won't believe what happened to me today, it was terrible, and then they have to, after that they have to go to work, but after a few weeks that story's old and no one wants to hear it anymore, and then they haven't really got anything else to say, and it's just quite boring.
Oh, he's going to tell us this. He's going to tell us this again, isn't he? He's going to talk about the time that he saw Percy Jackson and a monster attacked him.
Yeah.
You were all right. You're fine. You were like 500 yards back. You could barely hear him.
Yeah. That would be the series I would watch. Yeah. I did really like this is a real thing. I don't know if you're ever aware of if any of our listeners probably are fans of Marvel and all the superhero stuff. There was a little series in the comics called Damage Control, which is just about the people who cleaned up all the mess after the superheroes ruined everything. And I always wish they'd do a TV show of that, of just like, oh no, the Hulk smashed everything again. I guess I better clean it up.
Well, there was, they were going to do, I don't know what happened to it, but it's like a spin-off of the... Sorry, I feel like this is... But I need to tell you now.
This
the door's
is
unlocked.
Important, yeah.
They were going to... When they were doing like The Flash and the DC TV universe, they mentioned that they'd greenlit like a pilot for an insurance company based around superhero damage, and it was meant to be like a sitcom, and I don't know what happened to it, but it sounded amazing.
That sounds amazing. I would like to watch those programs where people are constantly going, how much damage was caused between that battle, between the battle between these two heroes and villains or whatever. Yeah, okay, but you have to make a claim. I think, and again, this is to all the Radio Nonsense listeners, that's what they need. They need that kind of world building. I don't think these things... I tell you what I've also always wanted. I've always wanted prequels to films where the story's already happened. So like Spider-Man, a prequel to Spider-Man could just be Boy, where he's just like... where it's before a spider's bit him, so he's just being normal for a whole film. Yeah. And you can have like, before Godzilla, you can just have Tokyo, the film. And it's just Tokyo just operating as it should do before Godzilla gets there and nothing happens. That would be a great film.
Here's my pitch. The film Boyhood. Listeners may not know. Is it Richard Linklater? I might be wrong, but it's quite a famous established art director man who adults will go, oh, very talented filmmaker. And he made a movie where he filmed an actor when he was like 2 years old, and then 4 and older, and then the whole film is like editing that whole life together. I think combine this, so we have the Boyhood film. And then at 16, it's like, so people have been watching it for three films now, and it just seems to be like a portrait of like a child growing up. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, he's gone off to school trip. He's been bitten by a spider. And then it's just like exact same way, like same cameras, because it's very grounded. So it's not like they've got drone cameras that they can follow him around with. But it's just, I think this is it. This is the future. That is
the way. Do all films, every possible moment of that character's life, and all the characters in the background, until every single film has 400 films about it.
Yeah.
That's the way.
So, the first 200 are okay.
Yeah.
But in 201,
yeah, like you can have the Star Wars films where it's a long time ago, but actually a week before that. In a galaxy far, far away, and actually just down the road from that one, and it's just about someone who owns a shop, or something really boring. Yeah.
Luke, do you need to get them batteries? No, that we've still got half the charge. We're okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then.
All right, then I'll have a sandwich, and that's it. And it'll be a blue sandwich, and that'll be the most exciting thing that happens. I want boring films. Boring films.
Boring films. Boring films.
Yeah, that would be good. Wow. Well, I think you've answered that question brilliantly, Eddie. And not only that, but I think we've included a lot of references that all the listeners will understand.
Yeah, they'll love that.
They're all going to check out Faith No More and the film Boyhood. Maybe not yet. But thanks.
What do you think?
What a night you've got ahead of you, listeners. Oh,
did you like the film?
Me.
I did. Where's the spider?
Yeah, it's going to be quite boring for them. It's not even I'm very wary of the show of recommending anything that's not suitable for listeners. I don't really think it's unsuitable. It's just not very. They won't find it very interesting. It's just very boring. It's hard, like it's boring. Yeah,
because it's not like an age. It's not like there's anything naughty in there. It's not like there's anything scary. It's just you're going to be bored.
It's really you're just watching someone else grow up, and you're like, especially for listeners, you're like, I'm in the middle of growing up.
Yeah, you are growing
someone else growing up.
Yeah, you're doing the best
bit
of
it. Really boring. Yeah. Well, anyway, that's that one answered. Thank you, Eddie. And I question 2. I think this may be harder, but we'll see. Right. We'll see what roads this takes us down. Eddie, would you rather have the job of being the human that all the monsters test out their scariness on, or be the chief tester at the skunk school for when they have to see if they can reach maximum stinkiness?
Oh, okay. Oh, so can I just in the second one with the so does that mean that I'm like I've got a skunk in my hand and I'm like going and like lock and loading the stink and it's
I think it's more so it's their school. I think it's more that you have to sit there on a chair and they have to like walk in front of you and like and then you have to like I don't know, ring a bell, or you've got a stinkometer. It's not farty, is it? So like a stinkometer.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
And if they only get their certificate and go out to be a professional skunk if they are truly stinky.
Okay, so that does sound smelly.
Yes, it'd be awful. Yeah.
But on the other, like I always like to look for the silver lining there. And imagine the little face on a skunk when they do their stuff, and I'm like, you know what, mate, you've done it, buddy. Congratulations. I'm speaking like that because I'm finding it hard to breathe as the stink comes in. Like,
sure.
You done it, mate. And I'm pushing the stinkometer up to the gold, and then I see their little smile.
Yeah, that's nice.
Smile? I think skunks smile.
Skunks are quite cute apart from the smell. So I suppose you have got that. And I do wonder as well if you'd get quite used to the smell after a while.
Maybe, but then that's the thing I was thinking with the monsters is like, as somebody who's I've performed comedy quite a bit, and what you find is like you start off and you see comedians perform and it's really exciting watching everyone do live comedy, or you have quite a strong response to more or less all of it because it's such an exciting new thing to see. But then after a few years, it's really only the really like funny stuff or the really bad stuff that you start being like, oh. And I wonder if that would happen with the monsters. Like, after a week in or so, like I actually get to the point where it's like I know the main tricks. I know, what you got in there. You got a mouth on your tongue. I've seen it before,
quite
buddy.
Boring, yeah. Well, also, do you think that my worry as well is again, it's not something the listeners will be aware of yet, but as when you're younger, things are scary because like it's got 12 eyes and it's jumped out from under my bed. Whereas when you're older, it's scary because you're really boring to talk to, but I am stuck here talking to you for at least half an hour.
Yeah,
that's terrifying.
True. Yeah,
that's
is it
really
like each monster actually turns into like somebody who I've met 3 times before. So I just don't know the name, but I can't ask him anymore.
You can't ask the name anymore. Yeah, and that would be awful. But then they'd go out and try and scare kids, and kids would be like, "I don't care," and they'd ask what the name is straight away because they've got no. They don't, and so that could be difficult.
You know what? Actually, but that's not bad. If that's all right for the kids, maybe I'm doing my part by like existential dread, like the Kafka of monster scaring.
That's true. I mean, it could be, you could really be changing a lot of kids' lives where no longer are they worried about vampires. Instead, They just get monsters that look like a little brown envelope from the government that may well be a parking fine, but you're not sure.
Yeah, HMRC are auditing you.
Yeah,
And it's really rare, and don't think it's not specifically you, but they do have to audit someone.
yeah,
And also, you have not kept your receipts, have you? No, you have not kept your receipts.
yeah, and again, for kids, that's not scary at all.
No,
For adults, that is the worst. I think that's the most scary thing. They could be. I'm trying to think of what scary monsters for adults. An empty bag of coffee. That would be awful.
Yeah,
In
or
the
like
morning,
half a scoop. You like just not enough.
It's just
like-
gonna be a really weak coffee. No, how would I get through the day? Yeah, yeah, terrifying.
The clock that you think is 5 minutes fast, you've deliberately set your clock at like 5 minutes fast so that you're always 5 minutes ready. But actually, you've forgotten that daylight savings has kicked in, and so it's actually 5 minutes late.
Wow.
That makes your skin crawl.
Terrifying. It's awful. It's really awful. And I wonder, but then also interestingly, would you, if you make monsters turn into those things to scare adults, but they're scaring kids,
Yeah.
a kid's going to grow up being so resilient of these things, that they end up not being scared them when they're older.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? I think the first one, like, I think that the opportunities that it's providing me, I'm really keen on.
Yeah,
but
that's
then,
nice.
Then a skunk is really cute when they're happy.
It's true. Yeah. Who do you want to save more, the kids or the skunks?
Oof. All right. You know what? Here we go. Here's my offer. Here's my deal.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna split it in half. So I feel like I'll take the contract for the monster scaring,
Yeah.
but I will offer the skunks. They can come into Narnia. There'll be like a free deal where, you know, if we can get a machine that does the measurements for the stinkiness, and if it's stinky enough, great, go nuts. But if not, you can head into the wardrobe. Come on in. That's all right.
Nice.
We need you there.
That's really nice of you.
It's the least
That's
I
really
can
nice
do.
of you. It's very thoughtful. Wow. It's funny. I mean, normally with the Would You Rather, people don't want to choose either, and you have gone for both, and I think that's.
Oh,
really...
you didn't have to choose them. You didn't have to choose one.
You're meant to sort of choose which one you'd prefer, but I think if you prefer to do a bit of both, I think that's fine. That's all right.
Yeah, that sounds like me. Steadfast refusing to make a decision and bending
like
over
it.
backwards to accommodate both. That does
Very
sound like me,
nice.
actually.
Very nice of you. Well, okay. In which case, this leads us to we've got a big question. It's coming from Josef, who is 11. Joseph hasn't but 11 years old, so I'm guessing. I don't know what 11 what. It might be
in Stranger Things. Is he 11? Is Joseph revealed?
Oh, do you think this is Joseph from Stranger Things?
Yeah, Joseph 11 has chosen the new
as
name,
in the
Joseph.
number. Oh, as in the character 11. Right.
Yeah, the character 11.
Oh, maybe it is. Yeah. Oh, maybe he plays 11 in Stranger Things.
Oh no! Oh, congratulations! That's great.
Yeah, that is great. I don't know. Yeah, that's true. Actually, I didn't think about that.
Or is it last name? Like, what is it? Like Ben 10, Joseph 11.
Oh, it could be Joseph 11. Yeah, could be. It could be that they are the 11th Joseph.
Oh, I like that. Long line of Josephs.
Yeah, it's interesting. Oh, yeah, we don't know. Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, that's curious. Joseph 11. I like that as a. He could. Is it Ben? Can Ben 10 become 10?
Yeah, so I think Ben 10
monsters?
had 10 different aliens he had access to.
Well, Joseph got 11, so
yeah, he's got one more.
One more. It's just like, even if that one more is rubbish, even if that one more is just like a sort of bug alien that goes, bleh, like you're still one because you've got one more than Ben.
Let me tell you that bug alien covered in thumbs.
Covered in thumbs. Yeah. See, again, we talk about spin-offs. I love that Ben 10 had a spin-off of all the different people's names and their number says like Greg 2 and you know
free the Alan 1. That was the
That would be that's where they need to expand that world. That's what I'm saying. Right, so Joseph has asked. This is an important question, Eddie. This is a big question.
All right, I'm ready.
Right, I couldn't even say it. It's so big. I couldn't say that. I said potatoes. That's not a thing. Right. I mean, it might be. There may be like a potato lentil combo. Healthy or unhealthy. We don't know. Anyway, Joseph asks, if potatoes are a vegetable, are potato crisps vegetable crisps? Thanks, Joseph. That's nice. He thanked us. We haven't even answered it yet.
That was really nice. That was very kind.
It's very nice.
Which makes me want to really dig in and put a real shift in for this one.
Yeah, you do it.
Joseph, that's a great question. Because I don't see why not. But in the same way that like a tomato is a fruit, but I'd count it as a vegetable. Like a potato is a vegetable, but it doesn't count towards your 5 a day. Unfortunately,
it's terrible.
I think it's rude. I think it is rude. I had a look, and apparently potatoes, yams, plantains, they're all counted as very starchy vegetables, which apparently, if you have too much starch, you're no longer in the world of vegetables.
Wow. Now, why is that? Because starch, in my head, it makes things like really sort of, I don't know what the word is, sort of solid, like sort of...
Yeah.
Like if you were to just like, I don't know, cover... I don't know what you'd cover in, so like a feather in starch, so it'd be like rock hard, wouldn't it? Is that how it works? So it's like... So. Are these vegetables not good for you? Because if you ate like 4 million potatoes, would you just be completely like, you'd be like a wooden plank?
Oh, maybe it is like a control thing. Like maybe the big vegetable is like, if all these kids eat these potatoes, they're going to be too strong and they're going to be too hard and too tough.
Yeah.
And if they get too starchy, then nothing will stop them.
Yeah.
So maybe to control.
But you thought of the positive there. I was just imagining they were just lying like in like a plank because
like a sort of
like someone's hairsprayed them or something. Like because they're like, I'm too full of starch, I can't move. but I like your idea.
Sire, intruders at the castle, release the starch spray.
Kunk, 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 kunk. Like dominoes, you'd fall over like dominoes.
My lord, we are simply too stiff to attack.
Why have people not used potatoes like that before?
I don't know. Like maybe they have. Maybe we're just like, it's a dark secret that it's never been revealed, and perhaps we've unlocked that now.
Possibly.
And if this comes out unedited, then that we're safe. But if this goes, then it's. I mean, you won't know because that's how editing happens. But
it's not me. I just put it out into the world, and then the top secret forces in charge of everything release it however they choose to. The top secret, not the lower secret forces. Basically, it's the top. It's the top end of the secret forces. Not the ones that deal with rubbish secrets.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, I've hid a biscuit or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where have you hidden it though?
I'm not telling you. It's the lower secret.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I got you there. You got me there.
Yeah, don't try. I'm a professional at this. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna tell people where my biscuit's hidden. Why would I do that?
That's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah. don't try and catch me out there. Unbelievable. I'm almost offended.
I'm cheeky.
Yeah, you are. That's fair. Well,
so vegetable crisps, right? I like a vegetable crisp. I get if people don't. I do feel like one thing that vegetable crisps don't do that the potato has the sort of gift of. It's like I don't think I've ever had a vegetable crisp that's been like any other flavour than the vegetable I've eaten.
Yes.
Yes. Whereas like potatoes, I've had salt and vinegar, I've had prawn cocktail, I've had sizzled steak, I've had scampi flavour.
Wow.
I've had lime, tomato ketchup. Yeah, tried that one. Just the flavour of barbecue. Just a barbecue.
Just so you've eaten the metal.
Bit metal.
It's the device. It's not the items you'd put on the barbecue. It's like eating a barbecue set.
Because it's not barbecue sauce flavour. It's just barbecue flavour.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Had parasol flavour. Had canvas flavour. Would not recommend that one. Bit dry.
Bicycle flavour. You tried that?
Had that one. That was okay. Bit tough.
Yes. I quite like a large mass of of water in a nature reserve flavour.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's quite. You open it up and it's quite an impact you get from that.
Yeah,
bag,
it really is. It's quite whiffy. Yeah,
Really
yes, it
hits you.
is. Yeah, it really does. But they've really thought about all the flavours for it. And do you know, like, I don't know if you know, they do different flavours in different countries depending on what they think people will like most in that country. So if you're like in this country thinking, you know, what I really like, fruit smoothie and the blender contained flavour, but you'll go to somewhere on the other side of the world and they won't have that flavour. Instead, they'll have egg wearing a hat flavour or something.
Oh right, okay. Well, that does sound tasty. I mean, depending on the hat.
True. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, probably a flat cap, I'd have thought.
Yeah, that's. I think that'd really pop. I think I'd pop on that egg.
Me too. Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right about the vegetable crisp. I also. Now I'm going to be a hypocrite here, which I am every day anyway. But I'm going to be a hypocrite here, especially because I agree that like some people complain that veggie sausages shouldn't be sausages because they're not made with the meat. And I'm a veggie, and I think it's the shape of a sausage that makes it a sausage, and the same with a burger and all this. So I think anything in the shape of a sausage is a sausage, even if it's a cheese sausage or a shoe sausage or whatever it is. It's still a sausage.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I think vegetable crisps aren't really crisps because I feel like they're a bit of a lie. I feel like you want crisps and then somebody's gone, "Have you tried these healthy crisps?" And it's like, don't ruin my crisp moment. You know that I needed potato crisps and you are ruining them by giving me a withered beetroot.
Yeah. I think corn and potato. That's all we want in the world of the crisp.
Yes, corn absolutely can stand up. Maize, which isn't it's not a maize. You don't get lost in a nacho.
Well, sometimes I do.
Yes,
sometimes
I do too.
a good nacho. It's like, oh, where am I? What year is it?
Do you think they've made a maze?
A maze of maize chips. I'd love that.
The maze of maize chips.
Too many people would eat their way through. They'd be constantly having to replace the wall.
That's true. I can't get out. Oh, well. Yum.
We need more tortilla walls immediately. Quickly, start them!
This group's brought their own salsa. They're unstoppable. That's brilliant. Yeah.
So I agree. I think especially with the sausages and like a lot of meat things where folks are like, oh, it's not actually that. It's like, don't pull the string of how much meat is in that. You don't want to know. If you're asking that question, don't do that. That's not a gate you want to open. Like, let stuff that you have the clarity of it not being all potato or being all meat. Let that be. But I feel like it's its own vibe, isn't it? A vegetable crisp. It's its own gang.
Yeah, it's its own gang.
Like, because I'd include a kale chip in the vegetable crisp. But I've had kale chips, and I don't actually think they're crispy. There's a little crisp, but it's not like, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like a crunch.
Yeah, it's true. And you sort of feel, in a way, like Joseph saying is a potato crisp, vegetable crisp. I almost feel like potatoes don't need to join the vegetable crisp gang. Like, why get lost among
I think potatoes
a lesser
are all right.
crisp?
I think they're doing all right. Yeah.
You know?
Like,
it's going backwards for potatoes. It's worked hard to be where it is. You know, it's really put the work in over years and years and years to be the ultimate crisp. Why would you then go and join the vegetable crisps that I don't think really want to be there? I think they want to be roasted or, you know, pickled or something. But I'm not sure it's their ideal.
Yeah. And I also, and I think like the potato's got its own vibe, right? Potato's got its own world. It doesn't need to play. You've come into the kingdom of the spud lad. Like, you don't need to.
Yeah.
Or carrots with your crisps. Who do you think you are? Like, coming in here asking the potato to join your ranks. He's got his own land.
Yeah.
Potato land. Tato land. In South Island, I think.
Is that
There's a theme park, a Tato theme park. Yeah.
Ah, yeah. Oh yeah, it is. I think there's one in Northern Ireland and in Ireland.
Oh, is it both? Maybe I'm wrong. This might be where
one of them's like a castle and one of them's like a land.
Yeah. They've got two then. They've got two palaces, two regions of splendor.
So much better than other. Are there any other foods that get a whirl? I mean, M&M World, but that's just a shop, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, M&M World is proper. Like that.
It doesn't count.
The police should be closing that down every day.
Yeah, because this is not a
also,
world.
Yeah. Barely a land. It's outrageous. Like,
yeah, it's not a village. It's not even it's a shop. It's just a shop.
I've heard they've not even annexed the shopping plot. Like, it still belongs to the area that's in.
Terrible. Well, yeah. I don't know if there's any other foods that have got a theme park then, are there?
Cadbury World, but again, that's more a factory. And it's like, it's not just one food, is it? Like,
yeah. I went to in Portugal. I went to a chocolate museum, which weirdly didn't only have old chocolate. Like, they let you try new chocolate.
Oh, okay.
I was worried because it was a chocolate museum. I'd have to eat like 3,000-year-old really gone off chocolate because it's a chocolate museum.
I like that you'd have to though. You went in.
Yeah.
And so I have to.
You have to. I'd be curious. Come on, you do want to know a little bit what it tasted like.
Yeah, I'm on board. It's just that my thought process was the exact same as yours, and I had to think, do I have to eat it?
Maybe you don't. No, you don't know.
But I took it as a given. It's like, well, obviously I've got to eat this.
Yeah, but you're right. That was a museum. Cadbury World isn't a. It's not really. It's a sort of a factory. It's only potatoes that they have.
Yeah.
I wonder if we need to. I wonder if Joseph is right to ask this question, but I wonder if it's not so much are they vegetable crisps, but do they want to be?
I think that's it. It's like the potatoes have their own. The potatoes are a proud people, and do they need to really kowtow to the vegetable restraints? Like, I think they've got enough going on, personally.
Yeah, me too. Fair play to them. Good. Well done, potatoes.
Let's take a moment just for potatoes.
Potatoes. Yeah, that's great. What type of potatoes did you imagine? Just out of interest.
I don't think I'd eat these, but like a sliced potato, not a crisp, like quite a thick sliced potato that's been like fried.
Nice.
So it's like a sort of potato skin kind of thing. Ooh. Like in the northeast, if you're ever up in the northeast, there's like potato skins is like a popular thing.
It's good.
Kind of like that.
That's nice. I just went for a classic roasted, but I'm starting to feel like I should have got more adventurous. It was just the first thing that popped in. But there you go. No real wrong way to have a potato unless sort of someone like pushes it up your nose or something, and that's probably throws it in your eye. But generally, it's not. There's no really a wrong way to have a potato. Well, thanks, Eddie. That was great, and hopefully Joseph is pleased with that answer.
Yeah, I hope that's okay, Joseph. And say hi to the other 10 for me.
Yes, that's a nice thing to ask as well. Yes, well, thank you. It's been a delight getting you back on the show. Are you busy? Are you in the I don't know, next 100 years? What have you got going on?
Yeah. What am I up to? Well, I'm having another child soon. That's pretty exciting. Yes. Another little exciting one. Because I'm trying to. It's always a joy to come on and answer questions from the listeners. But also I'm trying to home grow some questions as well that I can answer.
Yes.
So I'm trying to put that in house as well.
Can I ask? Does that mean because they're your children? Do they count as their sort of own people, or do you become Eddie too?
Oh, so one of them has their own name, but the option, I'm happy to subcontract my name out for that.
Sure, but I mean, they don't become like Joseph was Joseph 11, Ben 10. You don't become. They're not like you can't call on them by a little watch.
No, not yet. No, I don't have that.
Okay, sure. Okay, just right.
I've tried. Sure. My science team were working on it, but just a lot of that toll booth energy has really taken away the tech teams trying to automate that for the evenings, which has been tricky.
That's a shame, but sure. Cool. Well, that's big. That's a big thing to happen. I'm sure you're going to have lots of your own questions very soon. I'm pretty sure. From the age of 0, just kids have questions.
Yeah, it's just questions all the time. Yeah. And I'm trying to. So I've also for older children, older listeners, not children. If you're a child, that's fine. But if you're just an old heart, and you want to listen to somebody reading The War of the Worlds, the book War of the Worlds, I've got a podcast for that.
That's exciting.
There are some rude words in there, but it's not filthy.
Right.
Just a heads up.
Sure.
as a warning.
So if you're a child with an old heart, so if you're like
Yes.
you've got a sort of, if you're like 7 years old but your heart is like 80, 90, perhaps 3,000 years old,
Or you've
can
got
tune
like a Davy Jones heart in a little bottle outside
Yes.
your own heart.
Yes, that's true. Actually, it doesn't have to be. Yeah. Maybe you've just collected an old heart. Then you could listen to this. That sounds great. What is that called? Is it called The War of the Worlds?
Edy Hurst podcast version of ... The War of the Worlds.
Oh, nice. Right, that's good. I like that you've added the bit in the beginning there, so we know it's not. I have to say I like the ones with I like the version with the songs in.
Jeff Wayne's,
Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds, which isn't your one because yours is
love
Edy
that.
Hurst's.
No,
War of the Worlds.
my full title is Edy Hurst comedy version of Jeff Wayne's musical version of H.G. Wells' literary version of Wilson radio version, Steven Spielberg's film version of The War of the Worlds, the podcast version.
Wow, that's brilliant.
Just because I love that Jeff Wayne made that and was worried people are going to confuse this with all the other musical versions.
That's true.
And so I have a lot of respect for that, and I didn't want people to make the same mistake with my podcast version.
I fully understand. Well, brilliant. Well, thanks so much for taking time out of all those things to come and chat to us today, and hopefully we'll see you again in the future if you have time in between your own question asking and indeed War of the Worldsing.
It would be an honour.
A lot of bugs.
Big thanks to Edy Hurst for having time to help me answer Josef's question in between running his Narnia tourist business and testing skunk whiffs. Josef, I do hope you liked your answer, and if not, maybe try sending any complaints you have into the back of Edy's Narnia wardrobe, where they'll get frozen and I'll never have to read them. If you have a question that you need answered, or you just want to send in a joke or anything else, then please ask your blithering wingnuts, grown-ups, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclubforkids.co.uk or by messaging on the Spotify Q&A. And the other thing this week is if you have anyone you know who might like this show, please do tell them to check it out. Anyone you know at all. Tell your teacher to give it a listen. Tell your parents' boss. Tell your grown-ups boss, just give them a call and say, listen, I'm sorry you have to deal with my grown-ups all day, but in the meantime, why don't you make your life better by giving Radio Nonsense a listen? I think you should do that. That must be the spider. Hello? Oh, you're down there, sorry. Right, come in. Ugh. The flies, they're over there. Keep away from me. Go to the flies. What are you doing? No, you're meant to catch the flies, not show them your juggling skills, though, that is impressive. But I suppose it's easier if you've got 8 legs, isn't it, you show-off? Oh, no, don't come over here. Ugh, spiders. Ugh. What is it? What is it you want, spider? You're meant to be doing a job. A note? What does it say? You quit? What? You've always wanted to be a circus spider. You've never wanted to catch flies. You quite like them and wish they were your friends. What? A replacement is coming as soon as possible. Oh, wait, that's actually good. Well, okay then. See you and good luck as a juggling spider, I guess. Ah, that was quick. The new spider replacement's arrived. Oh, wait, this isn't a spider. This is a potato painted to look like a spider. What? And it has a note stuck to it. It says, those flies say your podcast is poo, and as long as it's poo, they'll stick around. What? No, bye! You have been listening to Comedy Club for Kids Presents. Radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense. It's the end.